So, greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking, and I am Dale Barcy. And as always, if you like what you see and hear, subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world and at any stage in their nursing journey, from students to retirees and anywhere in between. Today, I am very, very pleased to welcome Sarah Jordan. Sarah has 15 years of dedicated experience, and she's a seasoned registered nurse specializing in long-term care, assisted living, wound care, and dementia. She holds certifications in wound care, dementia, and geriatrics, and she represents clinical excellence and compassionate care, she says. She's also the proud owner of a legal nurse consulting business, and here she leverages her nursing knowledge and experience to assist attorneys in legal cases involving medical issues and patient care. And her entrepreneurial venture is motivated by ensuring healthcare standards are met and by making a meaningful impact on patient well-being and quality of care. And beyond her professional endeavors, Sarah holds family of significant importance in her life. She enjoys spending time with her fiance, her children, grandchildren, and parents. And additionally, she delights in activities such as sporting clays, snowmobiling, and various outdoor adventures, all of which contribute to the creation of cherished memories with her loved ones. So, welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dale.
It is my absolute great pleasure. And firstly, I always want to know why people are nurses. So what brought you to nursing?
Self-preservation. And a little
Okay.
backstory. I did not set out to be a nurse. I actually, in my teen years, I had an eating disorder. I was anorexic, wasn't bulimic, but anorexic, and I was very interested in nutrition, diet, exercise,
Mhm.
and I was hyper focused on that.
Yeah.
So I went to college for nutritional sciences, and I did that for a couple of years, but the proverbial life happened, and I ended up getting married, having children, and I did get an associate's degree at Goldie Beacom for business administration. And I helped run my ex-husband's business for a while, for many years.
Hmm.
However, in my mid-30s, I had to make some real difficult choices. And I had to start thinking about what I could do to take care of myself and my children. And so I knew I was caring, I knew I was compassionate, I knew I loved to help others. And a person one day said to me, "You would be a great nurse." And it just hit me. It was just, yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely, it all hit home, and I was like, "You're right. This is my calling." So,
Light bulb went on, huh?
and yes, yes. Um, and so that's what I did. I went to nursing school, and I first got my associates, and then I went on to get my bachelor's degree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So coming to nursing in your 30s, mid to later 30s, with a family to take care of, what kind of challenges did that present to you?
It a lot. But when I look back, I just did it. I'm not even sure how, but I did it. And I
Mhm.
would say the biggest challenge was just trying to get on my feet and work and take care of the children. And I had I had an opportunity. It worked out very well for me that I had a night shift position as an
Mhm.
RN supervisor because I was the only RN
Mhm.
in the building.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it worked out really well because I had a lady from church come over and she watched my children at night. So I worked at night. By the time I came home, they were
Yeah.
at school, so I was able to sleep and
Mhm.
be there for after school activities and homework and bedtime stories. And I was also getting my bachelor's at the same time. So it was it worked out. It was a lot, but ended up, I did that for about 2.5 years, and it
Yeah.
got me through.
Yeah, yeah. And you said, as you were saying that, you said you're not sure how you did it, but you just did it. And that's one of the things that we kind of do as nurses. You find yourself in the situation, and you just do it in the situation.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
yeah. So I see you worked in quite a few areas. Well, most of it in a geriatric area?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Mhm.
And I didn't set out to work in the geriatric field. When I was in clinicals, I thought, oh, that's the one thing I do not want to work in. I wanted to go to psych. However, I had a very hard time finding a job when I graduated. And
Yeah.
this nursing home said, yeah, I'll, come work
Mm.
night shift.
Yeah.
And the geriatric population, I say they chose me, and I just fell in love, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I realized this really was it. And that's, yeah, I stayed with long-term care, and then I did do a stint at the wound care center, but then I went back, to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can identify with you when you say that, as a student, that was the one thing you didn't want to do. I'm right there with you. I swore never, ever was I going to do that, and I did do it. Eventually, I did do it, and like you, it won me over. But what about nursing and nursing today that you think you'd like to see change, if anything?
Oh, well, there's three things. And the one is staffing. I would love to see the staffing ratios change. I would love to see nurses getting compensated properly, for
Mhm.
the work that we do. And the main thing I would really love to see happen is for our nurses to get on the forefront and be innovators for the healthcare, for healthcare standards, and to help with policies, procedures, laws, and or the designing of medical equipment. I mean, we nurses are so valuable,
Yeah.
and we have so much knowledge, and we have firsthand knowledge. And I would love to see us get out there and
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely, absolutely agree because I think, somehow we have gotten into the groove or the mold of taking stuff from other people. You talked about designing medical equipment. Um, and I don't know how many anybody within or outside of the healthcare field who's better equipped to design medical equipment than we are. But for
absolutely
some reason we don't do it.
right. Right.
For some reasons, although I have to say though that I do believe that as I see nurses and I speak to nurses and I see nurses getting a foothold in things and getting, equipping themselves in terms of education and entrepreneurship and things like that, I see that that is going to happen, that we are going to be much more influential than we have been.
I couldn't agree more. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so you segued into legal nursing. You're now
Yeah.
legal nurse consultant, and an entrepreneur.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I started my own business. What I do is I provide medical, medical record analysis and interpretation in legal cases. I provide expert witnesses and demonstrative evidence. And that's this way I get to use my nursing knowledge, my nursing experience, my nursing expertise, and, you know, assist with legal cases. I feel like I hope it's a way for me to make a meaningful impact, you know,
Yeah.
for the healthcare practice from a legal perspective, and
Mhm.
advocate for patients' rights, and also help bring successful resolution to cases.
Yeah. 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 And I would imagine this is mostly geriatric cases.
Yes, yes, that's what I like to
Yeah.
focus on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because somehow, and that's a huge thing and that's a big thing because somehow they seem to get left behind. The big flashy cases have to do with younger people and trauma stuff and all of that. And our geriatric population sometimes get left behind. So that's huge that you're focusing on that area.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
our vulnerable population and
exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah. And often don't have the voice, often don't have the voice
right,
to make themselves heard.
exactly. Whether it's memory issues or just, you hear them a lot say, "Oh, I don't want to be a burden,"
Yeah,
and so they're not sticking up for themselves. And
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly, exactly. So somebody's got to stick up for them, and that's you.
that's right.
What do you see though? So many things, many innovations and new things that come into healthcare care come again into um bigger splashy areas, into ICU and the OR and ER and stuff like that. And then maybe eventually it might trickle down to post-acute care and stuff like that. How do you think that you'd like to see technology, because technology is exploding all over the place, incorporated into the practice of or caring for patients in general, but geriatrics in particular?
That's a great question. I well, I want to see people get more education, definitely more education, and there's technology out there that can help them see better, hear better, um, read. There's just there could be interactive games
Yeah,
and just to get them more focused and active. And there's just, I think, a world of technology out there that we could tailor
yeah.
towards the geriatric population.
Exactly, exactly. I agree with you. And I kind of asked that because again, they get kind of shut off and cut off. And as so I'm going to speak as a person who's would be considered geriatric, I suppose. But people trying to get cut off, and they have so much to offer, so much to offer if there was just the opportunity or the space for them to offer it. And I believe that technology offers us that opportunity to create that space.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they bring so much wisdom to the table.
Yes.
Their
Yes.
stories are fabulous, and you just want to get a tape recorder and because they've
Yeah.
really lived a great life and they've lived through some pretty
Yeah.
significant times.
Yeah.
Bring it to the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So you talked about something that really in your bio, you talked about something that really impressed me. You said that your adventures contribute to the creation of cherished memories with your loved ones. And for me, that came right under the umbrella of self-care.
Yeah,
So
yes.
what does self-care mean to you exactly?
You know, it I equate that with self-love. You need to be able to take care of yourself. You're the only you that you have,
Yeah.
and you only have one mind, only one body, and we you I think we got to treat each other like our own best friend and just care for us. And
Yeah.
then it trickles over and you can
Mhm.
care, for your family or for your patients.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That sentence that I reread about contributing to the creation of cherished memories. When I first read it, it struck me as very poignant, because very often we don't think of self-care like that. We don't think of caring for ourselves like that. For me, when I started thinking of what exactly it means to me, and I guess this is why it resonates so much with me, that caring for myself is like saving money. If I'm saving money for the future, if I'm saving money for retirement, if I'm saving money for something specific, for me that is pretty much the same as when I care for myself. Because if I care for myself, I'm caring generationally. I can care for my children. I can teach them to care for themselves just by my own example, which teaches my grandchildren to care for themselves by my example, and so on and so on and so on. So when you said that it contributes to cherished memories, that resonated with me very, 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 very much. So thank you for that.
That was
So what
very well said. You articulated my thoughts.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to be a nurse?
I would say that, you would need to be adaptable and just to be able to pivot and no 2 days are the same, no 2 hours are the same, and you really need to be able to be adaptable um be able to just go with the flow and make quick decisions and just move. So you need to be comfortable with that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just to have compassion.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so you kind of just now answered a question I was going to ask, because I was just going to go and ask you, what would you say is the most essential quality of a nurse if you had to tell me in one word?
Yes, and compassion, which kind of seems like a no-brainer, but I do have a quick story that happened and why I keep that in my mind, and I'll try not to make it long.
Okay.
So I was 17, I was in an ATV accident. Actually, we hit a parked car. I went over the car and 20 feet beyond that, and I landed right on my jaw. And I broke my jaw in 9 places, and I cracked the condyle,
Oh,
dislocated my shoulder, but miraculously, I did not break my cheekbones, my
yeah.
nose. So, okay, I get taken to the hospital, obviously, and I'm in there for about a week. And within the first couple days, I could not move my arms, I couldn't move my legs, and I was freaking out. I thought I was paralyzed, and the doctor came in and he was like, "Sarah, your body is freaking out. It's just freaking out right now. It needs the time to process
Yeah.
what happens." And he said, "This will resolve in a day or two." He said, "You're totally fine. Your body will move." And so later on that day, I got placed on a bedpan. And when it was time for me to come off the bedpan, the nurse said to me, "Your arms aren't broke. You can do it." And I thought, wow, and I started crying, at 17. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, "I'm trying." And I was trying to move my arms. And I said, "Do you think I want you to do this?" I want to do this.
Yeah.
And she just rolled her eyes and left the room. And fortunately, my boyfriend's mom came in and she cleaned me up, but that stuck with me, because I can't speak for
Yeah.
her. She might have been burnout. She might have had a bad day. I don't know. But you know what? You have to have compassion as a nurse. You're taking care of people who are not at their best. And in hospitals, they're not at their best maybe for a short time. In long-term care, they're not at their best
Yeah. For the duration.
for the duration. So you really have to have that
Yeah.
quality if you're going
Yeah.
to be able to put yourself in their place and just take care of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. 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 You know, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes it is never going to be an easy thing to put yourself in someone else's shoes when they are at their worst. Um, it is never going to be an easy thing. And I somehow sometimes feel like we need to role play this kind of thing so that it doesn't catch us off guard. Because, that's probably what happened right there. Caught her off guard. Here she's looking at this 17-year-old. If you were 80, she probably would have just helped you.
Right. That's true.
But and then we bring our own baggage sometimes. Yeah.
Right.
But I'm quite sure that that is an experience that stood you in good stead in your own career.
Yes. Yes. I always keep that in the back of my mind. This
Yeah.
is, they can't help this, or this, they need me, and they need me to be empathetic and take care of them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I used to tell myself that as I would go to work and as I became more and more of a seasoned nurse, I should say. And one of the things I would tell myself on my way to work is remember why you got out of bed this morning. Why you got out of bed, put these clothes on, got dressed, and are on the way to do this thing. Remember why you're doing this.
I like to
Because
tell, I'm
yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say, I tell myself, I get to do this.
yeah,
I get.
You get to do this. Yeah. So, Sarah, thank you so very, very much for this conversation. I truly enjoyed it. Is there any little gem you'd like to leave us with?
Oh gosh. Just that, I think that we nurses need to stick together. I think that we need to raise each other up and be each other's cheerleader.
Yeah.
And, there's strength in numbers and we're so valuable and we're still so smart, and just to come together and make things happen.
Yeah. I couldn't have said that better myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a true pleasure.
It is my pleasure. It is my great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.